longest time there was an academic argument that Hinduism is an invented identity because the term itself appears in the 18th century. It's a man called Charles Grant. As far as we know, he's the first person to use that term. And therefore, people thought before the colonial era there was no need for such a label in India. And that's why it was an invented identity. But the more I studied, including in my previous books, you realize that there is people in native colonized cultures have a sense of agency. Even when you're under foreign rule, there are ways in which people resist in very interesting ways, which are not always obvious, but they are there. And I think increasingly now we realize that while the British may have coined the term Hinduism, the ease and enthusiasm with which Hindus in India were able to appropriate that term shows that they already had a sense that they had this value. It's just that the term could be applied there very easily. To give you an analogy, we don't use the word India for India constantly, right? 200 years ago, how many Indians were going around saying India? Yet, they did have a common cultural sense of this place as being one common civilizational zone, as it were. I think it was Alexander's time where they came in and they met some sadhus somewhere in Afghanistan or Pakistan, and they said that our homeland is from the Indus to the Bay of Bengal and from the Himalayas to the Southern Sea. And even though there were some 70, 80 kingdoms in this place, it was not one political unit, they had a sense that this was one homeland of some kind. So I think there was a sense that yes, there is some broad identity here. So when a term appeared, they were able to adopt it with ease and in fact give it a positive spin. Charles Grant used the term Hinduism with contempt. Raja Ram Mohan Roy 20 years later appropriated it and used it with a positive spin and tried to come up with a reformed kind of Hindu religion and so on.